So when does the AI empire start, do you think?
Mankind is currently facing many threats. Due to the genetic researches, it is now possible to create a superhuman, a specialized human being, a genetically engineered athlete, scientist, military man. There are reports that Elon Musk has already had a chip implanted in the human brain in the USA.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think there's no stopping Elon Musk. He will do as he sees fit. Nevertheless, you need to find some common ground with him, search for ways to persuade him. I think he's a smart person, I truly believe he is. So you need to reach an agreement with him because this process needs to be formalized and subjected to certain rules. Humanity has to consider what is going to happen due to the newest development in genetics or in AI. One can make an approximate prediction of what will happen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Alien Ad again for this Sunday. We usually have guests on this Sunday, but Doug, aka Wrecker, friend of Timothy Alberino, you might have seen him. He's been on this show before. He went to Peru with Timothy Alberino. He was supposed to be on tonight, but he couldn't do because of work commitments. So we've rearranged him for 2 weeks' time, I think. But yeah, we'll go a little chat tonight. We haven't got Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin on the show as guests. That would be quite the coup if that had happened. But before we get on with it, you know the usual drill. I want you to go and buy T-shirts. I want you to buy this one. I want you to buy this one. I want you to buy this one. I absolutely want you to buy this one. And I want you to become channel members, and I want you to become patrons. You'll find the links to those down the bottom. I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the video. If you like this, the chances are your friends will like it because that's what we are. We hang around with people that like the same stuff we do. So if you could please just right now share the video on your preferred social media platform, that'd be great. What else would I like you to do? If you're watching on Rumble, like the video and subscribe to it because we have more people that watch Rumble than we do have subscribers, and I'd like that to even itself out. Thank you very much, because the more you do that is the higher you get up the algorithm. I never ask you to give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast service you're listening to this on. That will get us further up the podcast algorithms, and like the sooner we can do that, I'll level with you. The sooner we get like X amount of views per video that we put up or per podcast, is the quicker we can get to the point where we can have paid adverts on, you know, as in like partnerships. So I can advertise MeUndies instead of doing this bit at the beginning. And then the closer we do that is the more time we have to do this and the better shows we're going to provide for you. So do all that stuff. Give us a 5-star review. Call me whatever you want. Tell me a joke. Tell me the things you don't like about my face. Tell me that when I put my head too far down, you can see that I'm kind of a bit thin on the top, but everywhere else is pretty thick with hair. I don't care what you say, as long as you just give me a 5-star review. That'd be great. Insult the fact that I've got like really big teeth. It makes me look a bit like a beaver. I don't mind. Just make sure you do a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. Anyway, without further ado, I think I've got away with saying all the stuff I have to try and say to make this podcast work for us. David, how are you?
Good. And I think this is the next point. We should come up with some car stickers. Like queer for Greer, hashtag queer for Greer car sticker. Rainbow those. No one will know what they're for, but they're going to support the movement.
Rainbow Greer Pride.
Somebody hashtag that. Greer Pride. Yes. That was people, you were here for genius. Greer Pride. We're all about the Greer Pride. He's going to sue the shit out of us at some point.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. The only way we could even possibly try and pacify him is with that.
Nah, I'll tell him the same thing I told my dying father. So. I think I'm kidding. Wow. On a lighter note, I keep finding more and more cigars around my house. It fucking smells wonderful in here. Just turn this room into a humidor.
Yeah, so we did a show yesterday, two of us. Got another show to do tonight. I hope people aren't tired of us.
You sure that was us?
I think it was us. That's what we like to see. People like double. Yeah, we've both gone for it. Double dipping. Double dipping. I'm proud of you. You're doing your part. Now, I'm not being funny if you're watching on two platforms. The fact you haven't got a window open for X is kind of letting the side down. But it also makes me want to start a Discord, not a Discord, a Twitch, just to make it more difficult for you. Yeah, so we had this. We were saying last night we kind of skirted around the like Tucker Carlson Putin interview. I watched it in full once, bits of it, and then now I've watched a few commentators that have spoke about it. I'll be dead honest. I think it's kind of being overhyped. Like I think the content of it is being overhyped by people a little bit. Do you not?
No.
But I did like the clip Ollie put in there, the AI stuff. I thought it was very interesting. Like when you've got the like the so-called despot saying, "Look, we need to put some sort of like rules and guidelines behind on this because it's pretty dangerous." Do you remember the old meme where I think it was the Chinese? Is it the Chinese? What's
careful?
Emperor? Is it an emperor?
I don't know. So, do I look like I would know?
I don't know. I just thought you might be a bit smarter than me. Somebody tell me in the comments whether China has an emperor, a president, a prime minister, the head, like a tribal chief. I don't know.
I've had 11 concussions that I've been told about. Never count on me to answer questions.
But there was a really cool meme of a dog ran up on stage, and I think it was there is a president. Thank you very much. That's the level of like functional retard you're dealing with here. And he picked the president of China picked the dog up by the scruff of its neck.
Oh yeah. When he hit it, and Putin's like,
and Putin's like, okay, give me the dog. And it was captioned of, imagine how much of a dick you have to be when Putin when Putin comes out to be the good guy. But the other takeaway from it was that beginning. Like I found that beginning 20 minutes of like Russian history really interesting.
I had a really dark joke run through my mind, and I'm debating whether I should throw it out there.
I mean,
so the president of China had the dog and was nonchalantly holding it and handed it. Do you know why?
It was lunch.
No, he has better manners. He doesn't play with his food. There goes the channel. Oh, sorry, Ollie.
Sorry. But dogs can be food too. Dogs could be food too. I remember when I was me and Arthur had Arthur being my son had an animal book when he was really really young and he couldn't speak properly, and it was like a farmyard animal. And while I was trying to teach him what animals were, we went through all of the farmyard animals between like friend and food. It's like-
Even your friends are food. That's all conditional and circumstantial. You know?
It was like
Always have allspice in the cabinet.
dog, friend, and then you go like duck, friend and food, because everybody likes Donald Duck, but crispy duck is pretty fucking good.
Taco seasoning makes everything better.
Yeah,
Even your neighbor.
Yeah, so I found that 20-minute sort of like Russian history lesson you got at the front of the interview really interesting. I am not smart enough, as in like educated in any sort of history,
That's
to
why you
know
didn't like
whether.
it.
Yeah.
That's why you're like, yeah, this is overhyped. It wasn't overhyped. It's like the history portion was the key component of what he
No, but what I'm trying to say is I'm not. I don't know enough about Russian history to know whether he was telling the truth or not.
He's been fact checked by everyone. He's absolutely.
Oh yeah, I imagine so. Like that was.
Yeah.
It would be the front page of every media if every media like mainstream thing if it had been. Like I said, on the AI thing one, I did like kudos to Tucker for asking about the journalist which was incarcerated. Like, so is it act of decency whether they'll let him go? Tracy said, "You start worrying when cats and dogs go missing in your local area and the Chinese takeaway is open in the UK." That was a big thing in the 80s. Like there was a big thing like 80s and 90s, like, especially when I was a kid. Yeah, it was like that chicken tastes meaty but weird.
Did you see the TikTok with the guy? I think he's in Hong Kong. He's like, "This is really good chicken," and he pulls this little bone, and he's like, "What is this?" And the guy goes, "Meow meow." And they go, "What?"
Oh, it's not even worth eating cats. Cats don't have meat
They're
on them.
stringy and greasy.
Yeah,
they're not what you would think.
No, I wouldn't.
No, but parrots, on the other hand, are delicious.
I've had horse.
I have not had horse.
Horse was fine. It was just I found it very beefy. It was lean, so it wasn't like.
That's why it was the loser.
Yeah, I'd prefer cow to horse because.
Did you get a complimentary?
You want that marbling in it? Sorry.
Did you get a complimentary glue stick?
Nay. Yeah, so I thought the journalist thing was good, like asking to release the journalist.
Mm-hmm.
But it has got me thinking, and this is kind of what the crux of what I thought, and I'm sure there's parts of that interview you want to talk about anyway. But I'm confused as the reaction of mainstream media, and I don't think considering that the mainstream media is in shock and it's awful and we can't have this, it has been complete saturation of that interview. That's not what happens when things happen in the world that they don't want us to hear about. They just don't talk about it. Well, people go on about like X being huge and stuff like that. Still a small amount of people on X as compared to to everybody else in the world. Yes. You could definitely have a story that is just confined to the internet that 80% of people don't really hear about.
Yes.
So they want us to hear about this.
I don't think so. I think there's some things you just can't ignore or you look unbelievably ridiculous, and this is one of them. I think it was more akin to.
To be fair, we're doing pretty good with like an extra 100,000 deaths in the UK per year. But carry on.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though, because that's easier to hide. you have buy-in from especially that population.
Mhm.
There's a large buy-in from that segment of the population who don't want to talk about it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's easier, right? They're already they're part of it. They're part of the conspiracy, and they don't want to admit that. Where this is something that he's been painted as a bad guy. They painted themselves into a corner so that they have to talk about it
Mhm.
because anything Putin does, they have to talk about. Unfortunately, it was Tucker went over there and he held a very professional interview.
Mhm.
It was an extremely professional interview. It's the kind of interview that needed to happen.
Do you think it
And-
was easy? Do you think it was like a softball?
No,
No.
like, because I've seen other people talk about, well, you should have attacked him about. That's the thing. Journalism isn't about attacking.
Mm.
Journalism is about asking a question to get an answer, not a leading question. I'm not trying to trick you into it. I got you. I want you to tell me what your side of events is.
Mm.
This, when we interview people, is as crazy as this is going to sound to people, is what journalism should be. I'm letting you tell your side. I'm going to ask questions so you can give your side and your opinion, and the world can decide for themselves. All the other information against Putin already exists. It's blaring from everywhere. The only point of view we don't have is his.
Mm.
They gave him an opportunity to give him his. Anything else, like, you need to attack him, we need to corner him, we need to. None of that is journalism.
I think that's the problem. That because that used to be looked down upon in the 90s. That was
Yes.
like shock journalism, like attack. What you call it? There's another word for it, isn't there? Ambush journalism. And I think we are so used to that being the form of media we have now. I can instantly think back to two BBC interviews. One being the one with the lady that I can't remember the name of, who did Prince Andrew as well, but she did Jordan Peterson. If you remember seeing that, did you? And she basically tried to call Jordan Peterson out for being like a sexist, and he made mincemeat out of her for like in short order. But it was kind of she probably would have had slightly more luck now, but she tried that move on a exceptionally like high level version of Jordan Peterson, but before the before the rampant like drug use, and it didn't work out well for her. In the same way that the guy in the BBC that tried to do the whole medical and misinformation thing on Elon Musk, and he was made mincemeat of.
He was torn apart.
Yeah, but that's what people are used to, and I think it's because we're always looking for the bite now, aren't we? We're looking for the 2-minute TikTok or the 30-second soundbite.
Investigative journalism was, in my mind, one of the highest forms of journalism. Like, you did like a detective level report, you put together a case, you present it to the public. And then it became hard-hitting investigative journalism. Now it's hard-hitting journalism. Now it's cutting-edge journalism. It's we're in the trenches journalism. It's full-on, no-holds-barred journalism. It's just what happened to journalism. What happened to letting the man talk? Like, an investigation, sure, you're trying to figure out the local crime syndicate and their hold on the, jewelry market or whatever. Well, this is state level stuff. Let the guy say his piece. You know what I mean? Like, the attack would only make Tucker look bad. Just like everyone, like the dude who came for Elon Musk, he looked like a fool.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, he looked like a fool. And that's what happens. He asked pertinent questions. He asked the questions people wanted to hear, and he gave them the time to answer. And I even like that he did a preference. He's like, he was giving us this history lesson that we couldn't figure out if he's just running like, a filibuster. Like, he's just running times. Like, but this has no time limit. He was willing to go. I think the things to take away from that, take away what he said, right?
I was surprised it was 2 hours. I was really surprised it was a 2-hour interview.
Yeah, so let's take away the spin and the propaganda and whatever else he's putting out there. You had a guy that sat there with commanding poise who can give a PhD level talk with full detailed knowledge on the history of his country. Right? Not only that,
71 years old. Putin. Yeah.
Yes. So he's in full command of his faculties. That much we saw. And there's no like, oh, they're reading in his ear and he's speaking it. Not like that. Like he's putting it out there. The things we don't understand as Westerners is that Russian and when you get into the East, the way that they have stoicism, right? Like we're even talking here, we use our hands, we're moving with our bodies and our heads. They don't do that. It's very, they keep all that together. So we read that differently. Take that out of the picture, right? And we won't count for this moment. Let's just take in the fact that he could sit there and have that level of discussion.
I'm here for that. I'm here for this
fucking
special.
love that.
That
Yes.
is Netflix comedy.
Oh, it's so
finest.
good. That's so good. That would be like, SNL funny again. It'd be amazing. But so he can sit there and operate at that intellectual level, like that capacity. His cognitive capacity is that strong. His will to do it is that strong at 71. And he's that sharp. That says something. Not only that, but he can hold a technical conversation on multiple topics. He knows what's going on, right? He's fully aware. And it shows that Russia is fully aware of what's real, how the world sees them and what's going on. And the other thing is they just don't care. They just don't care because the reality is they're the boogeyman in the newspaper and they understand that and there's nothing they can do about that. Because he's right.
There's a certain amount of that is true. Yeah, there is a certain amount
absolutely believe that's true. I absolutely believe that's true. Is Russia a bad guy? Sure.
Yeah.
Is every other country a bad guy? Yes.
I know from doing this, because we have a small pocket when I look at the demographic, we have a small pocket in Russia, of listeners, which is nice. I've spoke to a couple of people like over the years, and it's always been like very, very split. Because you always ask, if you speak to a Russian, you always ask about Putin. Well, yeah, it's like what's because again, this is why this interview is so big. We don't fucking see much into into Russia much. It's quite weird because we just take it for granted that there's stuff going on in China and we never see it, but we just like we're very cognizant of the fact that there's a firewall there. We're not so much with Russia.
I think it has something to do with the uncanny valley to a certain extent. And hear me out on this is because Russia and many of those Slavic countries, they look like Americans, they look like most of Western Europe, right? We look the same. But we don't act the same, and our languages are night and day. Granted, European languages are mostly, Romantic languages except for, German and English, but even then we all kind of get around that together. And an American can go to Europe and get by, and Europeans come to America all the time and they get by. We can all figure that out. If we were to go to Russia, we're in trouble. We can't even read the signs.
Oddly enough, British people, I'm like maybe certain people, I don't see when I speak to like Polish people, Russians, I feel they're closer to us than say like Italians or Spanish. I
agree. Like they're culturally they are. I mean, you got to think Russian is a Christian nation.
No, but even just like mannerisms and stuff like you talk about that stoic sort of
so you're talking to people who learn the language. You're not speaking to them in Russian.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, so they've acclimatized to you.
Bitch.
I know. All right. I've been on this show with you. We all watched the opening together. We all know. But the thing is, like, it is an alien thing. The gap between us is very big in regards to that. And it's something that our governments have played on both. The Russian government did it to isolate them for years and years and years. Western governments did it to isolate for years. And they still both are, right? They still both are. I think one of the biggest developments that'll change the world is this AI that's coming to phones that allows you to real-time translate in conversation. That's going to be
which is what was going on with Putin on the
correct.
Yeah.
That's going to be that's what's going to break peace right there. It's because we can really communicate now, and we're going to find out we're not that different. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think it was a needed interview. I think it's going to slow down a lot of things. I think the Western countries are going to have a hard time moving forward with the anti-Russia.
This is it's more the moves towards like conflict is that was the I think that was why Tucker did that interview in the first place. To be perfectly honest, I'm sure I'd love to know what the revenue for that was. When you add the YouTube views up to it, when you add the the X stuff.
YouTube's
like,
probably screwing them out of money. That's what they do. Yeah,
but no, it's like
but X.
I think even the YouTube thing. I'm sure that will have been monetized because even YouTube isn't turning their back on that sort of revenue cut. They take 40% of it.
I mean, YouTube's still getting paid, but they don't have to pay Tucker.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, they can be a bit bitchy like that, can't they?
They're extremely bitchy like that.
No, I love YouTube. YouTube's good, and they should not hurt our videos.
They already do hurt our videos.
They absolutely do hurt our videos.
It's obvious. Like it is. We can look at the statistics and know. We look at we know. We know it's not.
I like the fact that the people that are reminded that we go live are the ones that YouTube already look at as lost causes. Like, just leave them over there. Leave them in the little limit. Yeah.
Yeah, just leave them be. We got to have them to balance it out so we don't look like we really are, putting our thumb on the scale. I think it was important to have, man. I think it was important. I think the stuff he was saying about Elon was very telling. I think that, national governments like that are very, very aware of the technological progress that's going on. His little chuckle made me think that Elon's might have probably had people illegally chipped for a while.
Well, there's a lady on YouTube that's been getting traction that I think is probably crazy, but she's been banging the drum of that she was one of the first people to get Neuralink, and it's essentially after that there's been a load of like non-consensual invasive surgeries that have gone on after it and things like that. And
so they've been abducting her and cutting her up. We should get her on the show.
I don't think you can get in touch with it. It's like an anonymous X account.
Yeah. No, we can't go with that.
No, but
Elon will disappear us.
Yeah, well, that's it. I do find it interesting. You see, that's what I think alien abduction is. If alien abduction is a thing, I don't think it's aliens abducting people. I think it's either some sort of psychic, paranormal, fucking fuckery, for want of better words, or it is the X-Files style military operations, or even past military. We always look at military for things like this. You can't tell me that fucking Lockheed Martin wanted a couple of people to do some tests on. They wouldn't just do it.
They just take them. No. Military industrial complex, they just take with it. I mean, honestly, pharmaceutical companies, any major, multinational conglomerate, like that's the thing. When there's a guy on TikTok, he does these things talking about different countries you didn't know that were involved in the part of the military industrial complex and the things that they make for them. It's like Kraft Foods. What do you make? Miniguns. Oh, yeah, that's it. They're IBM. I can definitely see them snatching people up and putting things in their people's heads. I ain't gonna tell them when they'll do it to homeless people.
I do find it interesting that essentially, like in a roundabout way, Putin just admitted to countries having super soldiers, though, that were making Captain Americas,
or just admitting that our gene editing is that far advanced. It really makes you wonder about all Elon's kids, huh? Is he playing around there? So many of them are in vitro. Yeah, right. Surrogate mothers through in vitro. What are you doing,
the software broke on one of them.
They can't all be winners, right? He's in development. R&D is painful. We all know that.
I'd like to throw it out that if you knew what I was talking about then, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, see, that pushes me back to the please, no religion or politics. This is the wrong podcast for you, Paul. This is there is like we've literally started by saying we're talking about politics. There's a politician and a journalist interviewing a politician on the thumbnail of the show, and me and Dave don't believe in aliens. We believe in demons. So this is not a good time. I suggest you stick around. It'll be fun, and we will make you laugh now and again. But wait till we start talking about. Going to be possible.
Wait till we start talking about the Satanism, Nephilim, and the saving power of Christ. You're not going to like this show at all.
But I mean, it's great. I find that interesting with the abduction thing as well. Like, there's reports of the what do you think the B stands for? Oh, and I think you'll find that's LGBTQ plus AAI. You bigot.
Racists. Racists, man.
We've got a white supremacist here.
God, we need that shirt. That'd be a great shirt.
Oh my good lord, a Bigfoot t-shirt with I put the B in the LGB. Leprechauns.
That's awesome.
Leprechauns, Bigfoot.
Loch Ness Monster.
No, we need a T. There must be a cryptid or conspiracy.
Chupacabra.
For-
No.
You could wuss out and have
Come on,
time
people.
travelers.
What's a cryptid that's with a T? This is critical. Forget everything else this podcast was about. This is what we're about right now.
Now
What's a
think tank
cryptid with a
people.
T?
We need t-shirts. Remember that film? Always be closing, right?
Oh, yeah, come on. Coffees for the closers. ABC, always be closing. What kind of car do you drive? Tesla?
Dino Beaver. Now I'm almost convinced that is
I
an
could get
old
behind the
person's
Tesla.
vagina.
I could get behind Tesla.
what?
Put Teslas in there.
I mean, if I had to have an electric car, I would have a Tesla. If
Time
you-
travel? Time travelers.
I said time travel as early does.
Did I? Did
Well,
you? It
yeah.
sounded better when Welcome to the Show said it, though.
Yeah. I think it's a good one. We can do that.
We're coming back to
We-
this.
We,
Like,
we,
this
we
isn't
can
gonna-
make that a
we're-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, this needs to happen. Oh, it's going to be so good. Cryptid pronouns. Oh, my God. It's opening so many doors. Oh. I can't say anything without losing the channel. Oh. I think I'm short-circuiting.
Do you know what the time traveler's pronouns were?
Was?
Where, when?
That's good. I like that. Oh. Damn.
I've completely derailed this.
Oh yeah,
It's
I'm
completely
just
gone.
like the. Honestly, it wasn't even you. It was the cryptid pronoun thing, man. Like I can't shift out of that.
What I was going to say was
man.
before is it's crazy the amount of alien abduction stories where the aliens are essentially fended off by like people
Belief.
like praying or
Yeah,
bringing
faith.
like calling out Jesus's name and stuff. It's
Calling out for
It's weird.
Christ, and they leave him alone. Everybody else there got probed, but that guy. Like. I had a joke I was going to go into, but again, I think it's going to get us removed from YouTube. But that's the joke of the guys out on the fishing boat, right? I forget the name of the lake. They saw a light, signaled it with their flashlight, late night fishing. They had a huge bonfire set up. And then all of a sudden, the light comes down out of the sky, shines on them. They lose some time. They wake up in the boat. The big bonfire they built up had burned down. They go back.
Mhm.
And over time, they start having these recollections. And there was the 4 dudes, and 3 of them all got probed, except for one guy who was like threatening in his mind. He's like, first one comes near me, I'm going to kill it. And then he's just like calling out for the Lord, that kind of thing. And they just like left him alone. They moved away from him, didn't do anything. He watched all his buddies get probed, which is trauma in and of itself, I guess. Or was he just not good looking enough?
I mean,
Was he not pretty? It's just one.
I
more
know what I
occasion where
prefer.
He wasn't chosen.
Like,
he wasn't
where-
special.
if we were zapped, up, and I either had to watch you and Ollie be like, probed within an inch of your life and drained of spunk. I would prefer that than experiencing that as well as seeing you guys that
I
happen
gotta
to
be
you
honest, I'm
guys.
not seeing the downside to this evening.
But I don't think they stop when you're ready to stop. I think they carry on.
Hey man, this ain't my first rodeo. I don't need any safe words. I'm not an amateur.
Here's a question. The Paul said, if you could, I might as well throw one out for him here, so it'll get us off the religion topic. If you could time travel to what time would you go to, forwards or backwards? I would like to go see the dinosaurs. I would like to see the crucifixion of Christ.
I would like to go back to when the truly advanced civilizations existed. I wouldn't need to go forward. If I go forward, I feel like I'm going to walk into a nuclear wasteland. I feel like you have to go back to find enlightenment and advanced technology.
Yeah.
You know when
Go
they say
back to-
time runs backwards in our parallel reality? Maybe we're the parallel reality and our time is heading towards an apocalypse where the other one came out of it and they're going towards enlightenment.
This is where I go back. I find a time machine within the next few years. I go back short time and just invest a load of money in Facebook, Google, Tesla stock, Bitcoin, and then lo and behold, it turns out I'm Q.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. I would buy a humble plot of land like Kenya, and just kind of live my own life in my own little. I'd buy my own kingdom somewhere.
Well, that's that would be the
call it Davidia.
Well, the interesting one is, and I don't believe this for a split second, but it's definitely the podcast to talk about this sort of stuff on. If I was a time traveler, I would be Elon Musk now. I'd have gone back in time. I'd have made the right investments. I'd have a rocket company. I would have the largest social media platform in the world, and I'd be going around just being an all-out dick swinging fucking rock star.
In all seriousness, I'll tell you what I would do. If I could time travel and my goal like this is money and to develop something, I wouldn't do that. I would build my own clandestine government. I would influence every government in the world. I would have my vault set up everywhere. I would set up my sons to be the bankers of all major nations. Mm-hmm. I would just replace the Rothschilds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Well, see, time travel is a weird one, isn't it? Because if time travel is possible, then it's happening now. You know, that's
correct.
So that whatever point that time travel is invented in the future, it instantly becomes possible at any time in the past as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the thing of like, would you know, like how would timelines work? Did I go to bed yesterday with a sister, but because of somebody time traveling, I woke up this morning without one, with no recollection of ever having one? You know, is that what would work? Would we be constantly being rewritten because of people running back and forwards through time? But obviously, because the past would be altered in such a way, we'd never know that we'd been edited.
I think it's more like sliders. You don't go back into time; you just go into another version of your timeline, right? And it's there. So Moody Mongol had, of course, he had a question. Stephen A. So L wants to be a Rocco or Rothschild. No. I don't want to be. I would set up my own. I wouldn't be as evil as them.
Yeah, read it out for the audio listeners, Dave.
Moody Mongol asks, Alien Addict. Okay, so the dude used Jesus' name to stop the demon probing him in the poo-poo. However, what's the demon's fascination with doing dudes in the poo-poo? What's that about, Dave? I think it's weird that he directed the question at me. Well, Moody, it was a Thursday. All right. Come on. I think everyone else here knew that. That's what happens on Thursday.
I bet there's cuddly aliens. It's just some aliens have preferences, and you all look. People only leave bad reviews. People either really good reviews or really bad reviews. We're only hearing the bad reviews.
He said it's an innocent question, okay? I was just probing about it. I was just probing the poo-poo, but I was just wondering. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's a Thursday, right? Like, that's what they do on Thursday. If they should have gone fishing on a Wednesday, they could have played poker. I mean, the poor woman wouldn't have had any fun. But, you know, that was dark. No one will get it. Anyway, what were we saying about Putin?
I have no idea. I have no idea, Dave. You.
It went off the rails. This is why people don't want to come on the show.
But to back on the time travel thing, that's one of the reasons I fundamentally don't think time travel can be possible, because if it would just be a constant juggle between countries trying to go back in time and make sure their country was the dominant force.
Correct.
Also, what you said there about the sliders thing of having the different realities, I kind of look at that, and I look at all of this stuff now in the same way as I'm not going to go all flat earthy, don't worry, but in the same way as the solitary, like the planet in the middle of fucking nowhere, but we can't see anything or go anywhere, but we know there's billions of life forms out there. We just haven't found any of them yet. All these stories seem to make us small and insignificant.
I like to think average. Okay.
No, small and no, it's
average.
It's
a matter of perspective.
It's cold. It's cold.
It is cold. It is cold. Fair enough. It's cold. Right? No judgments around.
But that's where I think about the multiverse idea. Because it's not only are you not special, you instantly made another one of you when you decided to have that cookie instead of eating the carrot. You know, like it's every decision splinters something else off. So you are absolutely not special in any way, shape, or form.
See, that's the part where I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the case. I don't even think it's decisions that make it. I think it's just probability of outcomes are so close that you have different ones that are similar. I mean, but who knows? You know, I mean, we're not going to know. That's the one thing. Whether it's flat or round, we're not getting off it, so it doesn't matter. We're here, and the Rothschilds and everything. Well, they're the family name that we know and talk about.
Yeah. They're not the ones that get you shut down, though.
There are other ones that get you shut down. Absolutely. That is correct. Let's not test it.
No. That's not. There was the Sam Tripoli. Like they had some stuff pulled because of the there is a word like not color, more of a shade, and nobility after it. And yeah, you do a show about like that, you get fucked.
Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Where will we go with Putin again?
To war.
I think we're not going to war now. I think, if anything, he came out viewed as rational.
Yes. Well, you see, but this is the thing. Like one of the things that I can't quite get my head around at the minute is you have the UK government, which is in tatters. So we have two. Come the next election, we will have two people running for prime minister, both members of the and both, but not just members of the World Economic Forum, valued members of the World Economic Forum. So we essentially have a uniparty in the UK already. You have a party which is like the independent party called the I keep thinking, because we've always had one of these and it keeps changing names, and it is now called, help me chat, not Revolt. Come on.
Revolution?
No.
Oh.
Reform UK. Nigel Farage is a big proponent of that type of thing. Nigel Farage came out with this big anti-Putin-esque thing on GB News, and you go, right, well, okay, well, so the anti-establishment media can't even can't even go against the mainstream now. Everyone's lockstep on the same thing. So you have a uniparty in the UK, so that's fucked. The US has a sitting president that shits himself and can't remember when his son died.
He kicks dogs and walks around the White House nude.
Yes.
Well, he wears a diaper. There's that, but he's still shitting on himself. Yeah, that's where we are. I think this is interesting. Nice little segue, because we're just kind of treating this more like a Saturday show. I don't think we understand time. I can fall asleep for 30 minutes and experience hours of dreamscape. I agree. I don't think we understand time at all. I agree with that. No, yeah, we're really screwed on a lot of those things. Like, and that's again, man, where it comes, like I was saying the other night, you just kind of have to handle what you can handle. Take care of you and your family, right? Be somewhere, get to know your neighbors, make the best life for you can. These are things we are not going to change as individuals. Like, we're just not. If we come together and organize and do, sure, but you do you. If that's what you want, get to knocking on doors and banging. You're still going to do the same things I was talking about. But for me and mine, we moved to a relatively rural area. All my friends moved in. We just kind of live our life. Is what it is. We're making our little piece of freedom here.
Your little town reminds me of the what would turn into like one of the tiny little settlements in a Fallout game. When the major city gets nuked, and
yeah, tactically we're in a great position.
Yeah,
yeah, rivers, mountains, passes.
Or you go back to farming, you end up with a sheriff again, which is
we already have one. Yeah, our neighborhood would have one. We have something. Not everyone's gonna like it, but they're gonna learn to deal with it, or they won't. Yeah, that's all that matters, man. Is build your own little piece of your own empire. Build your own.
I think that's what, like, as James has just said here, like, communities are so split now, and there is very little community spirit left in the United Kingdom, even the Isle of Man, which is like a really small place. There's very little community spirit. I think there is pockets of community spirit, but it's because of the rules of engagement that have been drawn up by the culture wars. You do have that. There's that awkward mesh to.
I think it's easier
that you have to navigate.
It is easier to build that. So, I mean, I can speak for America, right? So what we do here is, me and my friends, we throw a couple parties a year, one of which you attended. It just happened to correlate with my birthday, like intentionally. But we do that 2 to 3 times a year. We invite all the people we want to invite that live in our little neighborhood, that do our thing. It's, food, live music, good times. Everyone hangs out. That carries through for months. It creates goodwill. You meet new people. There's kids running around. That's what it takes. That's how you foster it. Like, you could do that, and I believe this. You could do that anywhere. Does it cost a little money? Sure. You got to buy a bunch of drinks.
Do you want to
got to buy food. Get going.
Terrible thing.
What's that?
You couldn't do that in the UK.
Why?
Because you would need security. You would need risk assessments. You would need
to have a backyard barbecue
with that many people. Yeah.
What?
It would be wild. I only know this because of the. You would need a live music license.
You know what the crazy part is? Because that was my birthday party, that was probably a fourth of as many people normally turn up.
Yeah.
Because we didn't invite everybody. We had another one where we invited everybody. But that was just for it's going to sound weird because there was a ton of people there. That was like a close social gathering. If you can believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I can't believe that. I mean, I wouldn't ask anyone. I would just say, hey, I want you to play music in the backyard. I'm going to grill 80 pounds of beef. Right. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. Bring a side dish. Let's get this on. But our laws are different. Like, if the police say, hey, would you fuck out of here, man? Private property. It's our backyard. We're throwing a party. Leave. You couldn't do that in the UK. No kidding. You couldn't do that in the Isle of Man. You couldn't just be like, Go out into your back
No.
garden. You're going to fire up the Barbie, and I'm going to make 140 hamburgers. Anyone who shows up gets one.
Nope.
I'm going to have my friend's band play. Free beer.
I'm trying to work out, because there have been things, but when I was younger, stuff like that used to happen, and that's happened less and less these days because of all the bureaucracy that happens. I'd have to look into it, but see, that's the crazy thing. I would have to look into whether it's possible or not.
Stephen A. I'm from Romania, have 9 years in UK, and you can't do that. That's wild, dude. That is so alien to me. So here's Tracy. Lee, where I used to live, I used to hold huge barbecues for around 60-ish people. We had 60-ish people just in the house in one big room. For about 60-ish people, laugh aloud. It used to have shotguns out, rifles out, set up for the quack track, and racing pigs. Roasting was mega.
Sounds great.
Invite me next time you do it. I'll fly out for that, Tracy. Yeah, so like, I think my birthday party, we had 200-ish people. This is the final count. Normal parties we'll throw 500 maybe to, I don't know. If we weren't so fucked up, we would have better counts. It goes higher. And that's not at one time. We probably had that move through the evening, because some people come for a couple hours and they leave. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Can't have barbecue, but you can have a race over the mountain at 100 miles per hour. Jeez. So like, you've really caught me off guard that you can't do that. Then what the hell? What kind of freedom do you people even have over there? You can't get together with your neighbors, like your whole block, shut off the road.
I don't know.
We
That's
shut
what
off the road ourselves.
I don't know. But like I say, the fact that if I was going to do something like that, and I was going to organize some sort of event, the fact I would have to check is that's kind of an answer enough, isn't it?
See, we didn't have a tent, Stefan. So it said back home in Romania, we'd have weddings of 300, 400 people outside in tents. We didn't have tents, but we had a band. We had people outside, and the backyard's of decent size. So you had people that would, like, closer friends of people that work together, would camp over here or over here by the back. And it's kind of hard to explain without seeing it. And then the people were going in the house. This wasn't mine. It was my friend's house. They threw it for me.
It was a good party. I had a really good time that day.
I'm glad you two were there for it. It made it extra special. And you got to try all the sour beers.
Sour beer
sample
is
our
good.
bar.
The I thought the peanut butter beer was nice at first, but then that got really sickly halfway through the can. But the sour beers were my thing. That was fucking great.
I'm kind of surprised you guys didn't dip into the hard liquor.
I don't drink spirits. I've never been a big guy for the spirits.
Since all me and my buddies, we all backed off.
Just demons.
Our bar just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Even after that party, people bring more booze to and we just leave there, and we're just like, oh my God, like there's just so much here. Like we tell people, like, whatever you do, don't bring any alcohol, man. We have all the alcohol you want. You drink until you have to sleep here. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And there's like, well, I felt bad, so I brought some. Like, oh my God, we're never getting through this. How would Tracy say? I'm very curious of this. I used to live 5 acres of land. Everyone used to bring caravans, tents, etc. Don't worry about drinking. Yeah, everyone that's at this mostly at these events I'm talking about, they live in the neighborhoods. They could just walk there. Few people drove in and they were staying with someone or somewhere, or they made sure they had a designator. We're pretty good about that. Everybody there has real things to lose, so we don't want DUIs.
Did this go outside of the UK? Because I know, obviously,
sounds ridiculous. Who would do that?
Do you not know what this is talking about? So during
our lives didn't change when all you people hid inside.
Oh no, I get that. But I didn't necessarily mean where you were, but did this escape outside of the UK, where during the pandemic people would gather out on their doorsteps and clap for a minute to applaud their health workers during the pandemic?
They try to do different things like that here, some people, but
I'm not
I
gonna
don't have any
lie,
experience.
I did not. Like the even before I changed my opinion on said thing that was going on, I found that so fucking bizarre. Like it was one of the beginning of the ripple effect that of like, what the fuck is going on here? This is not normal programming.
I like this. Yeah, just call the barbecue a peaceful protest. That's what you should do. I like that. No, we just have parties here. Like that's where we're planning the next one. It's going to be amazing. We got to get different music though, because the lead singer of that last band, he's been having some issues, health issues. So, which is sad because they were great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed them as well. It was really good.
Good times, man. Good times. So you have officially blown my mind that you can't do that in the UK or the Isle of Man. That is criminal, and it is communist. That you can't just have a barbecue. Like you can't go buy 300 pounds of meat and I'm gonna fry this. Show up. I'm gonna feed you. Even if we're listening to like music on a box.
The music thing.
I
think the thing is, if you had a large enough place to do it, I think that would probably be okay for that. The music would be an issue. Live music would be an issue.
That's crazy.
But again, the problem is not the problem is people more than that. Somebody would complain. That's the thing. If nobody complains, you'll be all right. But
we had that.
Somebody would complain.
We had that the second time, and the cops are like, "Hey, someone complained about the noise," and we're like, "That's interesting. Would you like a pulled pork barbecue sandwich?" He's like, "I would love one." And they listen to the band, and they're like, "Thanks for the sandwich." You bet. Tell the neighbor to eat a dick.
Stefan,
did we talk about? We've been talking about other things.
Is UK is want to come as a foreigner? You need to earn 38k from this year. I think so. Yeah, or just hop aboard a boat from France to one of our many beaches. That seems to be the easiest way in. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, and this is not nothing bad to any foreign person that might be watching this thing.
This is definitely going to be bad.
Yeah, no, I believe in robust immigration policies. I think I think your countries should have the same attitude to me. It's like if I turn around and say I want to move to Germany, Germany should turn around and say, Lee, you're broke and functionally retarded. You can't come to Germany. We don't want you. You're not going to add anything. If anything, if you come here, you will take slightly away from our country. Like so that's I've always been of the opinion, even when I was back in my 20s, that there should be some sort of good policy where if you're going somewhere, you should have something to bring to the table. Don't go to a party without some booze.
Yeah, it's a critical question. Unless you're coming to Dave's neighborhood party, don't you dare bring any booze. You need to drink what we have. But Becca D, hey, why can't I buy merch in the Isle of Manly? Got 2 shirts in my basket and can't complete. New merch is great, by the way.
Oh, that's
Thanks,
interesting.
Becca D.
Thanks, Becca.
Whoever you are.
I don't know because I haven't tried to buy anything from our merch shop right now yet. I'll look into it though, and if we have to, get in touch with me privately, and I'll speak to Ollie and see if, because I haven't tried to order anything like I say to the Isle of Man. If ordering to the Isle of Man is an issue, I will get Ollie to order them to his home, and then we can just ship them to me, and I can hand them to you with my hands.
He could autograph them.
I could autograph them and make them, just like Germany, worth slightly less than before I arrived.
Like someone said, this isn't a professional program. No, no, it's not. Anyway, so as far as getting to know your neighbors and building your neighborhood, if you can't have a damn barbecue and invite people over, you're screwed. I don't know what to tell you. It's insane. Your government has actually made it difficult for you to get to know anyone else. They are purposely keeping you separate.
And do you know what the problem is as well? And this is kind of on me, is I don't like a lot of people around me. And that's not in general, just the people that happen to be around me, which would probably do me well in an apocalyptic situation, because after the initial, like, my psyche had to break, I could kill with impunity at that point. But I feel on the same level as maybe a handful of people on the Isle of Man. A handful at best.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Couldn't live like that, man. I cut so many people out of my life for being nonsensical.
Yeah, me too.
And now I'm done. I'm not going to live around you people. I'm not going to be there. Yeah. That's crazy. So, rotary motion. Who's Putin again? I'm still in the poo-poo tubes. Well, the guys who had the poo-poo tubes expanded are also Putin. They're Putin all day long. Poot, poot, poot. Those are rookie numbers in this game, browse mode. You got to get those numbers up. Rookie numbers. You don't satisfy. If anything, you guys should be down there encouraging, helping to incentivize. Make sure everyone's on their 9th one, 12th one, 15th one. It's in everyone's. We got to get herd immunity. Your life depends on it.
I was speaking to my friend that listens to this show today. He's he had the little C before, and he was telling me about it this afternoon, and I was so close to turn around and saying, and he will be listening to this podcast, and I am saying it. If only he'd had that 5th booster,
you'd have been fine. You'd have been fine. Go down. You know what? It's not too late.
It's never too late. No.
In fact, get the 5th, 6th
in while you're there.
And
who likes odd numbers?
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, it's lucky number 7. You know, go to 3 places, right? There's 3 places on the island, man. You can make that happen. They're cool with it. One to the next. Just make sure you get all the batches. You know, don't shortchange this shit. Go all the way. Commit.
Did you hear the story about the guy that was there was a guy in the UK?
Yes, and he was taking it for everybody. He did not look good.
No, I'd like to speak to that man.
He's dead
today.
You know, he's dead.
If that man is out there and he happens to listen to this podcast, you have an open door policy. I don't care if Jesus Christ himself is booked in on Sunday as a guest. I will shift that motherfucker just to get you on.
Absolutely. You know he's dead though, so we may need the old JC to get him on the show.
Or ascended, like he's got superpowers now. You know, like Godzilla. He's just scaly, living at the bottom of the ocean, red glowing eyes. Still got a high temperature and headache.
Welcome to the show. I've spoke to 2 people in 4 days. Well, you should probably feed those people in your basement a little more often. I mean, that's, you know, do they have water? You don't necessarily have to talk to them. Welcome to the show, but I mean, unless you're in the slowdown phase of the capture, and if that case, say no more.
That's funny.
No, that guy was crazy. I think when I saw his interview and they were talking, I think he had 20 something. And I was looking at him, I was like, he does not look good.
No.
No.
I think that ended up with like 3 figures in the end.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm sure that there was if it was definitely over 50 when I read one of them. I'm sure it went over into three figures. I was like, "Fuck no," because I'm convinced there was like one day he had like over 20 goes just in a day.
That poor guy. He's like,
It's
"Sorry, sir, you have cancer." He's like, "What kind?" "All of them."
all of them.
All of them. This is it's kind of amazing, really. Is there treatment? No. No. No, we're all excited to see what's gonna happen, though.
The guy.
Good news is
If
you have all the morphine, sir.
if you
All
care to
the
walk into
morphine.
this glass display box, that would be tremendous.
Fantastic. How do you feel about formaldehyde? Because it'd be great if we could get started now. Yeah, you can smoke it. It's fine. It's gonna have a great time. You can, as long as you agree to these terms, we'll give you whatever you want. I mean, hell, what's the point?
There's no control for what you have. There is
Yeah.
one specimen.
We just have one request. You have to pee in these buckets labeled hazardous waste. We can't put that in the general waste treatment system anymore. It's setting off alarms.
And that's how the first xenomorph was made.
Probably. Or he's this new super soldier. I don't know. He got superpowers. No, probably not. Oh.
Yeah, we've got well off topic.
Welcome to the show. It's the ball gag. That explains why you haven't spoken to anyone in 4 days. You gotta take the ball gags out of their mouths.
No, that's how that's how past it. Welcome to the show is. You think they're in a bad position. He's the one wearing the ball gag. They're much worse. That's why you can't speak to them.
He has them chained in the basement, but he's the one wearing the ball gag. Boy, you're in trouble, right? You're like, I got kidnapped, and the guy comes in with a ball gag dressed like a chimp, and he's holding his own chain. You're like, oh shit. This is gonna get dark. I thought it was in a bad spot, but this guy's other personality's taking the wheel.
Oh my fucking lordy. There was something I saw the other day. This is just to scare it slightly back on topic, but it's just hilarious. Where someone compared Tucker Carlson interviewing Vladimir Putin as reprehensible as somebody deciding to interview Jeffrey Dahmer or Hitler.
Were both of those guys actually interviewed?
But I'm sure they were. But it was just I can't understand how fucking small your lens has to be. Whereas like who's bad? Who's Jeffrey Dahmer's bad? I know that. Netflix told me. Hitler's bad. I know that. Everything's told me for my entire life. And that's the gauge you have.
It's I don't know, man. The wheels are so off the bus. That not like. And you had said something yesterday that made me think, when those fires were there, it's like we live in an age we don't know if those are real or not. There's no way to know.
Post-truth
No way to
world.
know. It's like absolutely. That's absolutely a correct statement. We're beyond that mark of what's real and what's not real.
Yeah. And AI prompts haven't even been able to give us they're not giving us the real goods yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another couple of years, you're going to be able to hammer anything into certain AI prompts, and they'll give you whatever you want out of it with whoever you want, whatever age they are, with whatever people in whatever places. Like all of the stuff, like there will be so much. There will be so much fake AI stuff, which is supposedly the stuff that's going on, like leaked photographs from Epstein Island, that sort of stuff. There will be so much of that. And I'm 100% convinced it's because they know the amount of stuff that was out there, the amount of stuff that got confiscated. And I don't get me wrong, I do not believe for one second that the FBI, when they went over Epstein Island, I don't believe they're like an independent crime fighting force that's that's trying to get to the bottom of this.
They never have been.
But what they are is they're an organization with a lot of people.
They're Gestapo.
And at least like one or two of those people could have been there. Either they've got a conscience or they've got the idea of like, I know how I can pad my bank account, and they just grab a couple of those DVDs, they stuff them down their pants, and then they walk home to work, and they've got them somewhere. So they know at some point some of this stuff will leak, and AI is their only ticket out of it.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting that from they told the number of hours that they confiscated from his home in New York. It was 18,000 hours of video footage was taken from his home in New York, the one that Andrew was at. 18,000 hours from that one home. They didn't say anything that they got off the island or anything else that they've got. It's 18,000 hours.
Everything was filmed. Like
Everything.
you will be like there'll be hundreds, thousands of terabytes of footage.
18,000 hours. 18,000 hours. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's how everything's controlled. There's different congressmen that talk about that. So at least in the U.S., that so many, like, how do they get these things? Because they're controlled. They're all blackmailed. You know, they go to these, like, what is it? O'Keefe doing, James O'Keefe doing the media. Yeah, he's like, and the guy's talking about they have these sex parties. They have these wild sex parties, and everyone's blackmailed, and all these guys don't care because they're into it and they think that they're untouchable. I believe that 100%. So I think he's absolutely telling the truth. We need to get that footage, though.
So the question is, why then do these people that are in these positions have a lean in that direction where that stuff is attractive to them? Is it, as I've thought for a while, like because I was talking to somebody yesterday about the Vince McMahon stuff, and I'm sure the allegations against Vince McMahon are going to get wilder and bigger and bigger and bigger and worse and worse and worse, because the guy's a billionaire. And the thing is, when you're a billionaire, you can have exactly what you want. So at some point, you have to do some pretty fucking terrible stuff to keep getting your dick hard. Because I don't think
that's true.
Do you not believe? No.
I don't think you have to. I think they choose to.
I think. I don't know. I
think they separate themselves, dude. You can be married to the same chick for a very long time, and everything still work well. Trust me.
Yeah, no. But you're not talking about that's talking about you and me, which we live lives where there are limitations.
Even without limitation, I'm not doing things. There's certain things that they're not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's other people around there that I think there are. I think it's interesting, the people that are corrupted, and the excuse is, well, you know, I could do whatever. So you just don't do certain things. Like it's not that hard.
I don't know. I mean, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
But I just don't know, because I think there's a certain point where you have so much power and influence that comes with wealth,
maybe,
that you kind of start to become a subspecies of human. Do you know what I mean? It's not, we're not the same anymore. We're not like you're so disconnected from 99% of the population that you kind of cease to be the same thing. I don't look at I mean, if David Icke's right, I might be onto something more here, but I don't look at the royal family as being real human beings.
I don't know, they care too much about their bloodline.
Well, just the fact
that
even if you forget the fact that they might be lizard people, might be lizard, might not be lizard people.
Lizard people.
They have lived such a life that is so alien to everybody else in the United Kingdom. So if we'll just use that as a microcosm, because that's where they fucking rule over with their, I don't know, squidgy fist. They're so different, and yet the propaganda media that backs the royals do their very best to try and make them seem so normal. Like it's there's this sort of like, it's the Queen's like your gran, sort of thing, and you go, no, she's fucking not. Like this, I just think at some point, if you can keep asking for things and people keep saying yes, you're just going to keep asking for more and more and more and more and more, and it's going to get more extreme, more extreme, more extreme. And then you couple that with generations. So if you're the one asking for extreme stuff, your kids are seeing the extreme stuff from a young age, so they just expect that extreme stuff, and so their extreme becomes even more extreme than that.
Or maybe that's just part of their ritual life.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Some of these people, they believe things that we don't even understand or know, right? That they have their own little secret religion thing going on. You know, you got elite people that are getting. When I look at like Bohemian Grove, I look at a group of guys who are getting read into something more, right? Whereas you go beyond that, people who hold generational power for so long, what is their normal?
Yeah.
Like, what do you really believe? Like, what are you into? It makes me think of the old movie from the 80s, The Believers. Did you ever see that?
No.
Has Charlie Sheen in it. No, Martin Sheen. Excuse me, not Charlie Sheen. Has Martin Sheen. His wife had died, and he has his son, and he's got this kind of girlfriend and a nanny. Anyway, he's involved in this work thing, and he knows these other people, and their kid dies, and this guy gets a promotion, and he's let in. It's this cult in New York of these incredibly powerful people that all sacrifice their firstborn child to these dark entities, and they are rewarded with power and prestige and money and placement, but they all do it, and they're like, hey, it's your turn. You've been set up. You've been picked. We want you. You want it, but you have to give up your son. And like the guy's there, and it becomes something that he fights against him and is able to get his son back. And it's this huge, it's a weird kind of movie, but even for the time, it was such a strange movie. I remember seeing it when I was younger, and I was like, I'm too young to be watching this. And even as an adult, I'm like, this is hitting a little too close. Like, what the hell? Check it out. It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable movie.
Just quickly, Tracy Scott's there said, I wonder how many let the kids near Prince Andrew in the family and what excuses they use. I don't think any of those people give a fuck about that.
Nah, I don't think they care.
No. If anything, I think Prince Andrew is probably the least innocent one of them, because like the girl was legal in the UK and barely legal in the US. I'm
wasn't legal in the US.
That's what's a barely legal. Oh yeah, no, barely legal would be legal.
She was barely legal in the UK, and she was illegal in the US.
And I will hold down that whole story with the Virginia Giuffre, with Prince Andrew, and the Netflix series that came with it was all to deflect from the real shit that was going on in that place. Mm-hmm. Because there is that sort of like the it's the tongue-in-cheek thing of like, oh, Prince Andrew's nonce sort of thing, and but realistically in the UK you go, well, he's not really. You know, it's morally wrong. Don't get me wrong, morally wrong. It's not legally wrong here, so it kind of gets whitewashed and forgotten about in the United Kingdom. And the Netflix would not have had the documentary about the Epstein stuff. There's no way Netflix of all places is a free and open media fucking company, is it? It's like it's not like, where are we going to find the truth? I don't know. Rumble, X, Netflix. I'm not sure about that. So yeah, it's weird. The whole the whole thing's weird. And right, that sorry, Samuel's got me wrong here. No, they just I want to preface something. My screens are set up so weird. It's so difficult to find my mouse again. You're right. He probably is. But what I'm saying is that it's easily forgotten in the UK as home of residency because of who it was. You know, it's strange. Also, yeah.
They did.
I believe it is still on Netflix in the UK. I'm not sure about the US, and it was actually taken off Spanish television because it broke their laws for child decency.
Good
Yeah,
that they pulled it down now that it broke the laws.
do you know what the thing was? Like I had that thing in my head where the
Did you?
yeah. I almost wanted to watch that just to see what was going on with it. And then I thought, I don't want it on my history, like on the like stuff Lee's watched. Yeah.
I didn't watch it because I'm not interested. I believed what other people were saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's good. I'm good. I'm good. Recently I've had more dark horrors enter my reality than I would have liked.
Yeah, you haven't really had a break on the dark horror thing, have you?
I have not. I have not, dude. And it only gets worse. And even today, we were able to clarify some other stuff, and it's and yet it gets worse again. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
I can't. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything about what's going on with you. But when you said something shocked you, and then you said, "And I've dragged a," I would like to finish that sentence.
No idea what you're talking about.
What you said to me yesterday. What you said
doesn't feel like anything I would have said.
Right. Okay. Because that was quite shocking, and I kind of glanced over it when you said it, but there was a little thing in the back of my mind going, that was a weird thing to say, and that was a weird situation for somebody to be in.
There's more to my life than I let you guys in on. Just be happy with this part of Dave. This is the one that matters. The rest doesn't matter.
Sorry, Rotary Motion. I cannot.
Yeah, it's honestly there's honestly, in all seriousness, there's legal reasons why I'm not bringing certain things up, and it's good and bad. It's a horrible thing that me and my family are trying to make better for someone else. We're not involved in any way. We're just trying to help. And unfortunately, through that, it's gotten weird.
Dave's going to try his hardest to get food to welcome to the show's two captive friends.
No, welcome to the show's a good guy. I'm sure those people have it coming. They deserve that. I don't care. I'm not there for them. But yeah, so no, he's talking about something else when I had made in reference that. But yeah, even then that's I don't know, it's a little too much. Yeah, I'm usually more guarded, I think, with most things. It's just I've been discombobulated and sleep deprived, so my mind is not as sharp as it should be. But yeah, as far as the I think Browse Mode was asking if we've talked about the paranormal aspect that Tucker brought up to Putin during it when the world was a stage, and we didn't talk about that.
No. Go.
I think I skipped over that part. I don't recall it, but honestly, my mind is very discombobulated. I focus mostly on the history and the AI, and that was it.
Yeah,
that's what caught my interest.
I was surprised. I was surprised there wasn't something brought up about because Tucker's been talking about the absolutely. Hey, look, there's only so many hours in a day, and we couldn't sit down and watch it last night because we were doing this. I listened to it once at work, and then I
listened to it once myself. And honestly, I've been listening to a bunch of other things and participating in other things that it's just kind of got washed. Yeah, I might. Yeah,
I find it interesting that there wasn't more brought up about the whole current UFO thing, because Tucker's gone pretty hard in the paint about that stuff. So I kind of expected a Russian side of it.
Yeah. Somebody said, "Get some lion's mane, Dave." It's not that it's the reason I can't sleep isn't that I need a right sedative or something. There's not a sedative beyond pharmaceutical grade that would help, and even then, it would lock me into night terrors that I don't want to have. I just want everything to go on. Yeah. It's nuts, man.
Mm. The well, just said Gillian Anderson, X-Files, is playing the interviewer in the dramatization of Prince Andrew's interview. There's a dramatization of that interview.
I don't know why
Jesus
that's needed, but
Christ.
if Gillian Anderson's in it, I'll watch.
Not anymore. No, we need a time machine for that shit.
No, she's still gorgeous.
No, she's not.
Definitely.
No,
Definitely.
not having it. No, not having it.
They got to stay 23 for you, huh, Leo? Or is it once they can drink, they're out?
I thought that was funny yesterday. There was a photograph of Greta Thunberg and Leo, and I thought that is the safest she has ever been. 5 years ago, maybe not.
Well, I'll have to check out that segment of it. I listened to the car outside the ballet lesson, so excuses. It was weird. It started a conversation about how the supernatural was playing on the world stage. I don't remember that.
Sorry, no, I did catch that part. Yeah, it was weird. Because that was the same part where we started talking about deep state as well, and yeah, I don't know. Like do you know what I really wish? And it was the same when Tucker was talking about the same sort of thing, like the paranormal aspect of like the UAP phenomena and things like that on Redacted. I really wish these people would stop talking in riddles and just fucking say what they mean.
I talk in riddles all the time.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I think if they could just give us more, because it's not really doing any good. Do you know what I mean? It's not highlighting anything. Like it's, if anything, it's just muddying the water. And maybe that's what it's for. Maybe the whole situation is there to muddy the water.
I don't think it's to muddy the water. In my experience, when people talk in riddles, they do it because if they tell you the truth, one of two things is going to happen. One, you're not going to believe them. Or two, you're going to believe them, but the powers that be are going to swoop in so quickly and discredit and ruin your life that it's not worth it. And the only way they can do it is to give you enough hints that you can pull these things together yourself and see what it is. That you're bright enough to do it. Because I know a lot of people that are like that. Too many people that are like that. And I get it. Like if they just straight up said XYZ, you're gonna be like, your brain just can't handle it. Like no. And then like I just broke so many laws saying that, whereas if they can slow drip it to you through riddles and either you're smart enough to get it or you're not.
I think that's, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to disprove myself by saying, by pulling Becca's comment up here, saying, I think Tucker mentioned the supernatural is such a religious guy, good and evil, God and the devil. Now, I think one of the things that has changed my opinion on religion after essentially living well over half my life as atheist. I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt and say agnostic. Is that because of these sort of riddles, and like I say, this is kind of gone against my own point now immediately, because of these riddles that are thrown out and the fact that there does seem to be like at very least, some sort of secret code of conduct between like some sort of cabal, which appear to live a very different religion to what we look at on the surface as like mainstream religions, that I think it gives more credence to the fact that this is a spiritual war that's going on.
I agree with that. And I mean, Putin's oh my God, that smells so good. He's a Orthodox. I mean, Russian is again a Christian nation, which is weird. I think it's difficult for people to grasp. But some weird shit going on, man. And again, like, you and I, we talk about it, and aliens aren't a thing. I don't think little green men are coming from somewhere else. That's me personally. I think it is a name given that helps us cope with what I think we feel deep down they really are. I think most people kind of know it. That's what people are scared. That's what people describe it in the dark way. And I think a lot of the people that are like, love and light and it's wonderful are just off their meds.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a difficulty believing those people. Maybe it's the cynicism in myself. And when you hear other people talk like, I had this strange experience and they go into it and you can see that they're frightened and they're messed up and they're not cool with it. Those people I give credence to. Something's going on. The jellyfish UFO. Can you please talk about the jellyfish? Old hippie. Seems to have gone quiet recently. It does seem to have gone quiet recently.
Not just the jellyfish thing seems to have gone quiet. The whole subject and the
topic
disclosure thing seems to have fizzled. I don't understand why, because it was such hot topic like over the course of last year. I genuinely, the only thing I can put it down to is that whatever we're on to the next season of reality now.
Yep, that's well said.
Yeah, that was very last season, the UFO thing.
Mm-hmm. But they're still going to be using the same phenomenon. They're just going to pitch it a different way. I don't think blue beam is a thing. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I believe that is what muddies the water. That everyone says it's just blue beam. They're just messing with you. They put out that early and they're always able to use it. They're always able to put that spin and that doubt, because the reality is I think most people want doubt. They want to. It's like when you hear something horrible that someone's done in the news. Think of the worst things you can think of. You'll hear people say, man, I wonder what made them do that. What people are really saying is, give me an excuse as to why this person did it. And they're just not real. Evil.
Its nukes aren't real.
Yeah.
The story, the theory that there's no such thing as nuclear weapons or even nuclear power, because deep down we know how fucking terrifying it is, the idea that a bomb could eviscerate that large of a portion of somewhere and then leave X amount of space outside of that uninhabitable. We hate the idea that there are so many of these things in the world that we can end life on this planet as we know it within an hour. So we have to make a coping mechanism, or some people have to make a coping mechanism that these things don't exist. Somebody needs to tell you that the boogeyman isn't in the cupboard when he's there with a fucking big knife.
The dude on H. Browse mode. I don't know what that means. Don't know what it means, browse mode. All right, here's one. Tracy Scott, how do you feel about Ashton retiring from MH370 on 8th of March? And do you think debunkers will start to actually look at the evidence then? Debunkers will not. That's not their purpose. No, I didn't know he was retiring. I didn't hear him say that.
No, I didn't. I haven't kept up with it. I think
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. I think I believe those videos are real. I think he has done an incredible job on the research he's done into that case. I think he is one of the best researchers out there. Like, he 100%. Is somebody that's bit into something, has worn a fucking Teflon coat for everybody that's come out at him. I would personally like him to pivot from the MH370 thing, not because I don't think it's real and not because I don't want to find out more about it, but I think to continually to chew on the same piece of gum is a waste of his talent.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many other things out there and interesting things going on that Ashton clearly has, and I mean this as a compliment, clearly has a type of obsessive personality, because you have to do that to dive into something like he has. I do not have that. I wish I did, but I struggle to do research. I need it in a very bite-size, easy to digest kind of way that my brain can kind of wrap itself around and then try and form an opinion from it. I think like I said, I think the work he's done is great. I would love him to start looking more
Tartaria
stuff,
mud flood,
exopolitics, exopolitics stuff, World Economic Forum. I'd like to see him go that way, like the stuff that's kind of like needed now. That that's needed. That we need more people with reach that have a way of connecting with people, which he clearly does. Otherwise, he wouldn't
Yeah.
have got the following he has done.
He communicates well.
Yeah, I think that's necessary, and really important. I think it's important. It's never been more important because the walls are closing in on this sort of stuff, and you never know. By the end of the year, even conversations like this might not be possible on like 90% of platforms.
They might be illegal in some countries.
Brasman said, "Tech dude on Joe Rogan said nukes aren't real." No, he didn't. He questioned the videos.
Footage. The footage is definitely not real.
Yeah.
I believe nukes to be 100% real.
Mhm.
And I think that the reality of a modern nuclear weapon that made in the USA is so terrifying, and they can do so much damage that the truth of them would boggle the mind. Like the reality is, you come to a thing when you hear things, it's like, why are you doing that? Nobody should be doing this. This is insane. You're doing insane things. Too many smart guys left unattended. But the reality is, nukes are obsolete. You don't need them.
Well, I mean, like, look,
they're very yesterday.
I'm very. I drift back and forwards on whether I think the Tic Tac is real, let alone whether it's like human made.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's completely out of the realms of possibility that everybody from David Fravor onwards was a plant that was out there to seed this narrative of these strange contraptions that are engaging with fighters. Just again, I think part of it might be busy work. It might just be busy work for conspiracy theorists, because if you give conspiracy theorists busy work, they don't do stuff that's real. They don't do that. They don't look at the real things. But if we could just toy with the idea that these things that are going from sea level to space in a second, you don't need a nuke, because you just throw something at that velocity at a thing, and it's gonna cause a big kaboom.
That's the kicker. You don't even need that. Like, truly, to wage real war is a digital war. It's a digital war. They just turn off your power.
I think you could argue we are no, but I mean, you're right. You just turn off the power. But I think you could argue on the digital side of it that we are already participating in digital warfare.
We're in the information part of the digital war. It hasn't gone hot yet, but it might.
Yeah.
What I think the orbs and stuff that people are seeing are I believe this for reasons. I'm like 90% convinced that those are leftover technological elements of a civilization that was here a very long time ago and has been mostly hiding from the rest of us. They absolutely exist here alongside us. They live in the places we don't go to, and the places we can't go to, and the places our governments make sure that we avoid, because they know that someone else lives there. And they don't want anything to do with us. They're just kind of watching us. They're doing their own thing. They have no intentions of participating with our society. That's why this is why I believe people say, well, aliens are already here, but they're not aliens. They were already here. They've been here. They were here first. But I also think the technology that they have is a holdover, and it's preciously limited, because I don't think they created it either.
Yeah. I have an interesting story. I've said this on the podcast before. Marcus brought it up. An interesting story about Hiroshima. My auntie, adopted auntie Kay, her entire family. She was there. Her entire family were killed in Hiroshima, and she essentially found her way to the Isle of Man because she was a child, and displaced essentially, and found her way here, but lived to the ripe old age of like 86 or something crazy like that. I do find it very interesting how quickly people moved back in and started rebuilding Hiroshima.
I think the dangers of radiation are understood actually pretty well, and they like to use it as a scare tactic. But I know people who study those kinds of things. And is radiation bad? Absolutely.
Yes.
High doses up close over a short amount of time? Sure.
Mhm.
But you'd be pretty amazed what you could, like, the human body's unbelievably resilient. You're going to recover. Are you going to get cancer in the future? Yeah, probably. Can we treat it? Yeah, most likely. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I have nothing more to
Earth
say
is a
than that.
soul farm. It's spelled with a PH.
What?
So,
yeah. Sorry, it was a throwback to yesterday, wasn't it?
That's
I got
right.
confused.
Nagasaki was part of that, yeah. Wolves in Chernobyl are cancer resistant. Yeah, I saw that. Because the only ones that have continued to live through are the ones that don't get cancer. If you're susceptible to cancer, they're gone.
I mean,
They're
if
gone.
anyone needs a deathcore band name, Wolves in Chernobyl it's there for you.
Or just Chernobyl wolves. Yeah. Correct. Farm souls. I would like to know more about that, because that's an interesting claim that no one really talks about. Why? It's like they're farming our souls. It's a soul farm. Okay, what are they doing with them?
Yeah,
Use them as energy, and they consume our
how are you
emotions.
harvesting them? That's the thing.
Yeah, how the hell are they harvesting them? Like, what are you talking about?
I more believe the idea that emotions can be harnessed,
Yes.
and maybe fear and anxiety tastes better.
I think you see that in paranormal activity if you've been involved with it and researched it and seen what happens to people after they've been around active encounters. It's like they're drained like a battery. Why? Things
I
are
was.
eating.
I felt
know you were. That's
so weird that next
Yeah.
day. So strange.
We 100% did that to you.
Mhm.
They weren't interested in Ollie at all.
No. So they asked him to go away.
Yeah, don't leave. Yeah.
No, that was really weird. I didn't expect that because I felt fine the night before. I
You
felt
didn't think anything was going to happen at all.
fine. No, I didn't. No.
Neither did Ollie.
No. Well, you see, the thing is, I'm so used to ghost hunting saying things and it all being rubbish. Like we've still got good stuff. Like we've still got direct, like, one-to-one communication with the spirit box.
Yeah.
Because of the issues that happened with editing that footage, and because we were let down, it will come out. We will do it, and we will put it out. But we got screwed a little bit with that, I believe.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, anyway.
And Trey said, and why don't ghost hunters ask when they are investigating? I think so. Here's my assessment of ghost hunters. I think it's interesting that it's a neat hobby for people, but when you find most people going, they love getting history, they love giving them names and personalities and all these different things, and they attribute all these things to the ghost, and this is what it is, and they're so firm. It was a little girl who died here in 1903, and her name's Juliet, and it's this whole backstory. And if you look into the Philip experiment, which is done by psychologists and parapsychologists in Canada, they gave a whole backstory to a fictional ghost, and then they started trying to contact him, and then they made contact with an entity that went by Philip and would answer in different sessions as Philip. Philip was made up. So that means something heard their discussion and adopted that persona. And I think some of the most interesting thing happens when we were at this particular location. Again, and walking through it, they give you all these things. They tell you what to expect, what the things' names are, blah, 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 blah. And when Lee and I are there, and I ask, what are you really? Because you're not this woman they say you are. Like, that's not what you are. What are you? That's when shit started to take a turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, people claim to have done that. They claim to have talked to famous ghosts, and that there's this in there. And again, what I say is that it's just me, right? I'm putting out bullshit like everyone else puts out bullshit, I guess, is that they're not. It's something pretending. It's adopting that persona and facts that when you go on any of these tours, everybody's saying out loud to the open for everything and anything to hear. Right? And then for something to suddenly start pretending like it is that, it would be expected. But what if it's something else?
I'm going to try and find something here.
But what if it's something else? That's just me. That's just me.
I always forget what the name of this thing was. I think it was called the Stoll Group, which was a UK like a UK think tank of like for psychological research.
Oh yeah. I've heard of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There is a great documentary that if you can find it, it is on YouTube, or it was on YouTube. I don't think it's stole as you would spell it. I think it's something different, and I can't for the life of me remember what it is. But it is worth looking for. They did like a series of seances,
Mhm.
and they were all hyper intelligent, like science based people.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite parts of it was they had a Kodak film sent to them from Kodak in sealed boxes,
Yes.
sealed and Kodak,
Mhm.
and they had them in the middle of the table when they did these seances. They sent the boxes with the film back to Kodak, who
With pictures
developed
on.
them for them. They had pictures on them with one of the pictures is a fucking alien gray. There is no other thing for it.
It's not an alien gray.
Well, no, but yeah, but it's essentially it's the
Yeah.
image of what we think of as an alien gray. They had handwritten like lines written across the film, that when it was developed, there was a handwriting specialist that essentially turned around and said, "Look, that's fucking. I don't know what to say about this, but you look at what they're saying, who they say they are. It says it's Nikola Tesla, and it's Tesla's handwriting. You know,
Mhm.
it's fucking wild. And the wildest thing about it is, unless you accidentally find this fucking like 1980s, early 1990s
Mhm.
era documentary, nobody knows about it. It's so weird.
I'm actually familiar with the thing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
again, I think it really does come to. I don't think it was Nikola Tesla. I think it's something pretending to be Nikola
Yes,
Tesla.
yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right, because I think they knew the people that were there that Nikola Tesla would have really
Mhm.
it would have really tweaked the
Followed him for a
nipples,
little
was all
while.
he would have said. Yeah,
Yeah, followed him for a little while, did its reconnaissance, and now it can pretend to be. Because once it can pretend to be, then it can start getting you to invite it in, become part of your life, so it can wreck it. That's something you'll find out about paranormal investigators if you watch very much. Their lives are usually in shambles, like their personal lives.
yeah.
It's just like they're inviting in disaster.
God, I really wish I could find
It'll be
the
a good one for the next Saturday.
yeah.
Because we've been on for 1 hour and 47 minutes. We got 63 people in here. I hope all 63 hit the like button on whatever platform they're on.
I will
So
do my
keep that
best. I
count
will do
there.
my best to find that documentary
Yeah.
and get the clips, get some clips of it that we can put up and show people, because like it's fascinating. I don't think it's ghosts by any stretch of the imagination, but it's probably one of my most enduring documentaries. My first one, which is I suppose we can give a little bit of a sneak preview of what's coming here. Kind of one of the reasons I'm even sat here doing this show now was because of the documentary. A funny thing happened on the way to the moon. Documentary done by Bart Seidel. He's coming on as a guest on the show over the coming weeks. It's going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait to talk to him. But yeah, that documentary and the Stoll Group documentary are two like top tier paranormal / conspiracy documentaries in my eyes. But yeah, cannot wait to speak to Bart. It's going to be amazing. We're going to talk to a guy which punched Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah. That's
Oh, sorry,
or
got punched by Buzz Aldrin. Yeah.
It'd been great if you'd punched him too. This is what gets me. So how many people from the Isle of Man do we have in here?
I think it's just two.
Just two?
Yeah.
Make sure you guys stalk Lee, throw bags of shit at his house. He'll appreciate it.
Wasn't he a big flat earther? I don't believe Bart is a flat earther. I don't think so. But it's one of the things I want to speak to him about is how his opinions changed, what he thinks of his evidence now all this time's gone past. It's that I think that I'm gonna call it, that is gonna be like Alien Addict show of the year. I'll pull the dates up and I'll tell you who's coming on when and where and stuff like that next Saturday. So just make sure you stick around for it. But don't worry, that show is going to be well advertised, and I'm in fairly regular talk with Bart as well. So it shouldn't be one that falls apart easy. It's going to be an odd time one. It's going to be a good one for the US. It's going to be on at 1 o'clock in the morning UK time because of where he lives in the world. The old hippie says, I would love to hear Stu Little's take on the jellyfish. You should probably go and ask him because you won't hear it here. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Thank you for the super chat. Other than that, I think we're good.
Good.
Thank you for everyone that's joined. We've 65 people here left still. So I would like you to go and hit the like button. I want you to go and do the review on the YouTubes and anything you can leave a comment on or a star. Just do it. Do it.
Welcome to the show. Don't forget to give your prisoners water. Okay.
It's what Jesus would have liked. Tracy Scott, look at you jumping in at the end. Thank you, Tracy. It is very much appreciated.
Big dick in the locker room right there.
Yeah.
I'll know when we see it. Well done, Tracy. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, right. That threw me because I was literally I was gonna hit the button.
I was like, we gotta get out of here now. I'm like, well, hey.
We'll see you all.
We got no pants on. Let's see where this goes.
Ollie will be on for Alien Addict next Friday, as usual. You can see the times down the bottom because I remembered to put it up today. We will be back on Saturday. We will be with you on Sunday. Next Sunday, we have Stephen Diner from the UAP podcast on to talk to us. I'm sure we'll be talking to him on Sunday about where he thinks disclosure has gone. And will it be coming back? Will it be coming back later on in the year? We might even touch on what he thought about the Miami Nephilim as well. Yeah. So, see you guys later. Bye-bye.
So when does the AI empire start, do you think?
Mankind is currently facing many threats. Due to the genetic researches, it is now possible to create a superhuman, a specialized human being, a genetically engineered athlete, scientist, military man. There are reports that Elon Musk had already had a chip implanted in the human brain in the USA.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think there's no stopping Elon Musk. He will do as he sees fit. Nevertheless, you need to find some common ground with him, search for ways to persuade him. I think he's a smart person, I truly believe he is. So you need to reach an agreement with him because this process needs to be formalized and subjected to certain rules. Humanity has to consider what is going to happen due to the newest development in genetics or in AI. One can make an approximate prediction of what will happen.
Oh, he's getting really good at those.
He is getting really good at them, isn't he?
That was flawless. That was so
Yeah.
good.
The I can't help but think that the thumbnail looks a little bit strokey though. Like it's a bit I've had
I like
six
it.
boosters.
It's
I've had six
unsettling.
boosters.
More like 12. Hell, that's the guy that's had 300 of them. He morphed into it. Well, that guy's definitely dead. Or he wishes he was.